spend all of this money for people to come out and enjoy themselves and have a good time, for you to discriminate against people that look like them because you don't want a black quarterback. They standing 10 toes down on their history. So who they catering to? People coming from Mississippi? People coming from, I don't know, northern Louisiana? Who are they catering to? Because the people right there in the city, you would think they would have got shit.
The Cleveland Browns have once again turned a routine injury update into a masterclass in questionable decision-making. Shadur Sanders has an oblique injury, and, according to the Browns coaching staff, he's taking 0 reps, which somehow still surprises no one. This is the franchise that could trip over a bye week and still land on injured reserve. Only in Cleveland could no reps sound like both the injury protocol and the entire offensive game plan.
Well, here's what we know. I mean, after practice, Kevin Stefanski, the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, was not available to the media, but I did talk to him on the field as the players were coming off, and he told me that Shedeur Sanders complained of oblique soreness during the warm-ups this morning, and they made a decision to shut him.
Before we move on, smash that like button and subscribe, because you know you don't want to miss out on this one. The Cleveland Browns have a talent for making decisions that feel like they were brainstormed in a room lit only by a flickering bulb and the sound of bad ideas bouncing off the walls. They've made mistakes before, but benching Shadur Sanders after the preseason he just had might be their new Mona Lisa of football blunders. It's almost poetic how they take something promising, full of potential, and find the quickest way to stomp the life out of it before it even breathes regular season air. If the NFL handed out awards for self-sabotage, the Browns would need a bigger trophy case.
But as somebody who is a Shadur Sanders fan, who believed that he got screwed over during draft day, or draft night rather, being a 144th pick, 5th round pick, to see him go out there and make some of those requisite throws and show flashes of the kind of potential that he has, I definitely think it was a good sign. Make no mistake about it, and I definitely think that as a result, he's going to warrant more looks moving forward. But that's all we could say at this particular moment. We really can't say more than that right now.
Proof to me that he's absolutely demanding of more reps with the second and first teams, against the second and first teams. I've been very adamant that Cleveland should start.
Shadur Sanders came into Cleveland like a spark in a dark tunnel. Sharp throws, pocket composure, actual decision-making skills. Things the Browns haven't been consistently associated with since color television was invented. The guy walked in, put up numbers in preseason, commanded the huddle, and looked like someone who could give the franchise something it hasn't seen in forever: stability. And how does the Browns' brain trust respond? They hand the starting job to someone who makes every passing down feel like a hostage situation. It's the football equivalent of saying no to the chef's special because you want to microwave leftovers.
Out of college have fan bases, like the other guy said. Like Johnny Manziel brought his fan base. He said that's the wrong reason to come. No, it's not. I think the Browns fan base mentality is somewhere. I need a word for it. I'm gonna come up with it. I want to see what y'all think about it. Let me play this one more time so y'all can listen. We are Shedurians. I'm like, Shedurians? I'm like, bro, I'm standing up here talking about Michael Penix Jr. I just posted about Cam Ward. I was listening to them talk about what happened to CeeDee Lamb. We talk about Michael Parsons, Justin Fields, Bryce Young, Jimmy Horn Jr.
Let's be clear, this isn't about whether the other guy is bad. This is about how hilariously predictable the Browns are when it comes to picking the wrong time to get conservative. They've built a history of chasing sure things that turn out to be anything but. And now, after Shadur flashes actual promise, they've decided it's time to sit him down, give him the clipboard, and watch someone else steer the offense into oncoming traffic. That's not coaching. That's slow-motion sabotage disguised as a depth chart decision.
What's happened to Shedeur Sanders after almost losing his father has confirmed to me that the teams that have a quarterback, they have one. Throw the rest to the freaking gulag. Let me ask you something, and I want you to answer truthfully. Why can Jackson Dart be praised, have highlight throws shown, even though it's third stringers who are about to be cut? Why is Dylan Gabriel allowed to throw training camp pick sixes? Why is Tyler Shuck in a legit quarterback battle with a fully guaranteed contract, but the best quarterback in college football last year is having his owner go up and say, I did not want to pick Shedeur Sanders? The quarterback I really wanted and got picked first. Yes, Jimmy Haslam, the Cleveland Browns owner, went up there and made it clear that he did not want to pick Shedeur Sanders. Some people are speculating this is because he broke a code between the other 31 teams and he's just trying to cover his assets, but I think this is a setup for the script. Hear me out, Hard Knocks. The Cleveland Browns do what they do when they lose a good quarterback, just like they did Baker.
The fans aren't just fuming. They're already emotionally packing Shedeur's bags for his next team. Browns fans know the pattern. The promising young QB gets benched for a veteran leader. The offense sputters into irrelevance, and by week 9, the season is playing out like a blooper reel on repeat. Then, in the offseason, Shedeur will be shipped somewhere that understands what to do with a quarterback who can actually play. And Browns fans will be left explaining to anyone who will listen that they knew this was coming, but the front office loves paying too much to stop.
Everything out of camp has been Shedeur had another good day. Shedeur's been really good. Shedeur was the best quarterback in camp. And then you get the opportunity to start. And if you just ask, what did he look like? Comfort, in total control. He played really fast. He didn't panic. Okay, so those are all the things that you saw. Then his own words, he had that smirk on his face if I felt like I had the answers to the test. That's what it looked like. And then plays like this, I would actually be most encouraged by. One of the things for Shedeur coming out of the draft that I was critical of was like, I don't think he's a ridiculous athlete, not a high-end athlete, kind of average. I thought he made some plays with his legs that I was really impressed with. So I think that, and for me, the result doesn't matter. And the opponent, for me, Stephen A., doesn't matter. Shefty, it's what does it look like? And he looked like a guy that should be getting opportunity to say, nope, you're actually not good enough. If I were the Browns, he would be getting...
Shadur wasn't just good in preseason, he was controlled chaos in the best way, moving the chains, threading tight throws, reading defenses like he had the answers to the test. And for a city that has watched quarterbacks implode under pressure for decades, that should have been the moment they said, yeah, we're riding with him. Instead, the Browns turned it into a seminar on how to waste momentum. It's almost impressive, like watching someone turn down a winning lottery ticket because they don't like the color of the ink. No, this is about ego, the kind of decision that says, we know better than the scoreboard, the fans, and common sense combined. The Browns coaching staff probably told themselves they're going with experience. That phrase is the death rattle of teams that want to play it safe while pretending they're building toward the future.
They have plenty of picks to pick Shedeur. I know that they have Gino's Pizza there as well. He's not the long-term quarterback, right? And if you really believe Tom Brady's worked with him, he's his mentor, he could believe in the guy.
I never thought of that, Rob, but you're right.
I'm dead serious. Like think about that. That's the place to me where Tom Brady could have said, I was a 6th-round pick. You know, people passed on me. I believe in this kid. I've worked out with this kid. I know what this kid has.
In Cleveland, experience has often meant we've seen him throw enough interceptions to know we can trust him to throw more. Shedeur could have learned on the job, made mistakes, and still given the Browns a higher ceiling than what they're getting. But instead, they've handed the offense over to a guy whose idea of a deep ball is praying the wind catches it. The fan backlash is as predictable as the Browns' decision-making. Social media is lit up with fans wondering why the guy who looked like the future is now just holding a clipboard like an unpaid intern. They know what's coming. The starter will sputter. Shedeur will be called in late to clean up the mess, and by then the season will be too far gone for it to matter. And yet, here they go again, pushing the one exciting storyline off the stage before the first act even begins. It's the kind of move that makes you wonder if the front office is secretly writing a book on how not to run an NFL team.
We have good process, okay? And if you'd have told me, let's see, we picked him on Saturday, right? Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shedeur, I would say that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning, and then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur, just like who's going to start or what play we're going to call is Kevin's call, but that's Andrew's call. He made the call.
The cruel irony is that Shedeur's style is exactly what the Browns' offense needs: decisiveness, mobility, and an actual plan beyond hand it off and hope. The guy plays like he's thinking 2 steps ahead, which, in Browns quarterback terms, is basically light speed. Instead, they've chosen the safer, slower, and ultimately more disappointing option. It's like swapping out a Tesla for a rusted station wagon because you're scared of charging stations. Shedeur isn't the kind of quarterback you sit unless you're trying to kill momentum before it starts. He's the type you throw into the fire because that's how stars are forged. But Cleveland, being Cleveland, looked at the spark and said, let's put that out before it gets too bright. It's the franchise equivalent of unplugging a lamp because you're worried it'll attract moths.
A lot of Browns fans have been looking forward to through Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders getting first-team reps. Well, that happened during Wednesday's practice session for the very first time in a unique way. Now, Sanders got work against the first-team defense, but it was a mismatched 11-on-11. So while he was working against first-team defensive guys like Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, he was working with the second-team offense. Now, there were 4 reps in that session, so a small body of work. One of those plays was a rush. The other 3 were passes from Sanders. The first play, Sanders had an incompletion, but he started feeling comfortable. The next 2 passes were completed. Sanders went 2 for 3 in passing with that one rushing play. Small body of work, but a major milestone for the rookie quarterback in this quarter.
Fans have every right to be furious. They've been promised change before, only to watch the same tired plays unfold like reruns on a channel nobody wants to watch. Shadur represented something different, a quarterback who could actually develop into a franchise player if given the chance. But now, he's benched, learning how to perfect the art of standing on the sideline with a headset, while the starter runs the offense like a dial-up connection in 2025. Shedeur doesn't need a redshirt year. He needs live reps, real pressure, and the chance to prove that his preseason wasn't a fluke. Instead, they've given him a front-row seat to watch the kind of football that makes you wish for commercial breaks. The Browns could have been bold, but bold doesn't live in Cleveland. It rents space somewhere else and sends postcards every 5 years.
Complained of oblique soreness during the warm-ups this morning, and they made a decision to shut him down. They had planned to use him in the joint practices with the Philadelphia Eagles today, but they decided to shut him down, make sure that he's okay, so maybe he can come out here tomorrow, Thursday, for the last joint practice and be available for Saturday's preseason game.
The real tragedy is how preventable this is. All they had to do was ride the hot hand, let the kid play, and see what happens. Worst case scenario, he struggles and you make a switch later. Best case scenario, you've found your quarterback for the next decade. But instead, they've skipped straight to the part where everyone wonders why the promising rookie is polishing a bench while the offense stalls. In a league that rewards aggressiveness, the Browns are still playing not to lose. And that's exactly how you end up losing anyway. And when that happens, the Browns will probably act surprised, as if they didn't have the answer in their hands and choose to throw it away. It's not just a bad move, it's a franchise-defining bad move, the kind that becomes part of the team's identity.
How realistic is it to say they give actual consideration to starting Shedeur?
I think it is unrealistic. If you look at the Browns' schedule, it's home against Joe Burrow, on the road against Lamar Jackson, home against Jordan Love, on the road against Jared Goff, then home game in London against the Vikings, then no bye, and you come home on the road against Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. That's a gauntlet. There's no way you're playing a rookie quarterback right out of the gate. It's just not going to happen.
Cleveland had a shot to do something different this time. They had a shot to ride the wave of excitement Shedeur brought to the preseason. Instead, they've doubled down on the kind of caution that's been holding them back since before half their fan base was born. It's the Browns being the Browns, and the rest of the league is just sitting back, shaking their heads and taking notes on how not to run a football team. The Browns have turned this into an art form, taking something that works and deciding it's too risky to continue. It's like watching someone discover a winning lottery ticket in their pocket and then trade it for a coupon to a buffet that's already closed. Shedeur gave them rhythm, tempo, and the kind of energy a stagnant offense desperately needs. Sure, if you define leadership as slowly guiding the team into a ditch while pointing out how deep it is, knows the system? Yeah, that's the problem. The system doesn't work, and the guy running it has already shown us he's incapable of fixing it.
If Zach Jackson and him and everybody else that we talked to have said that Shedeur looks good, he looks really good.
Yes.
He looks better, and we got Zach that say Dylan Gabriel ain't even an NFL quarterback.
That's true.
So how is it that this man can't get a rep with the ones, but that non-NFL quarterback can?
We all
what
agree with
sense
that.
does that make?
It makes no sense.
Shedeur didn't just outplay his competition, he made the other quarterbacks look like they were auditioning for a role in a nostalgic NFL Films documentary about mediocrity. His timing was sharp, his decisions quick, and his confidence unshakable, but Cleveland still went with the quarterback equivalent of reheated leftovers, something you settle for because it's there, not because it's good. The fan base isn't stupid. They know when the front office is trying to spin a bad decision as a strategic move. This isn't strategy, it's self-preservation for coaches who are terrified of being proven wrong by a rookie. Because if Shedeur started and succeeded, the veterans in charge would have to admit they've been wasting years with their safe picks. You can outplay someone in every measurable way and still watch them get the nod because they have more gray hairs and a better golf relationship with the coaches. That kills morale faster than a fourth quarter pick six.
And I caught up with Joe Flacco one-on-one after practice, and I asked him how is Shedeur Sanders handling the ups and the downs and the spotlight of his rookie season. Here's his answer.
Shedeur does a great job with that. I mean, I think he's got I think he's been around it a good amount, so he knows how to handle it and stay even and not really let it.
And the Browns have the audacity to expect Shadur to just learn and be patient. Patience is a virtue, but in Cleveland, it's a prison sentence. This isn't about protecting him, it's about protecting egos. The coaches don't want to risk the kid coming out cold in week 1 and struggling. But guess what? That's how young quarterbacks grow. You don't raise a racehorse by keeping it in the barn until you're sure it can win the Kentucky Derby. You run it, let it stumble, and let it figure out how to finish strong. What's really going to sting is when the so-called safe choice has his inevitable 3-interception game before Halloween, and suddenly everyone's pretending they didn't already see it coming. By then, the Browns will be in the middle of another identity crisis. The season's momentum will be dead, and Shedeur will be trotted out in garbage time to see if he can salvage pride points. And the cycle will continue. Rookie shows promise, gets buried, resurfaces when it's too late, then eventually moves on to a team that knows how to use him.
I can't even sleep for 6 hours without me waking up to y'all doing something stupid, bro. I keep asking y'all, are y'all stupid or dumb? And y'all keep giving me alternative answers like it don't mean a bro. What are y'all doing?
The Browns' decision-making process feels like it's powered by a magic 8-ball that only has 2 answers: play it safe and make it worse. You can picture them in the meeting room, looking at Shedeur's preseason stats, his command of the offense, the clear improvement of everyone around him, and then going, yes, but does he have the right kind of experience losing close games in heartbreaking fashion? They love to act like quarterback development is some fragile, sacred process that can't be rushed. That's fine if you have a Hall of Fame level starter keeping the seat warm. But in Cleveland's case, it's more like a broken folding chair being protected from wear and tear. Translation, we're afraid he might either burn out or expose the fact that the fire isn't as hot as we've been telling everyone.
He's definitely not going to be their week 1 starter. That is going to be Joe Flacco. If I were Shedeur, I know he can't say this, I wouldn't even want to be the week 1 starter. The Browns open with Ravens, Packers, Lions, Vikings, Steelers. Like, those are not defenses I'm interested in playing. And I understand that the Browns just released their latest depth chart and Shedeur is still number 4. I think Gabriel will and should start preseason game number 2. Shedeur is now amongst the rookies in pole position. You had to be impressed by how he handled himself and how he played.
We think he'll benefit from learning behind a veteran. Translation, we're hoping the veteran's bad habits are contagious enough to justify sticking with him. We're thinking long-term. Translation, we're trying to buy ourselves time before the fan base realizes we're just winging it. And the irony is, this so-called veteran leadership they're clinging to is the same kind of leadership that's led the Browns to more quarterback changes than most teams have playoff appearances. It's a carousel that never stops, and now they've decided to keep Shedeur on the sidelines just to keep it spinning. Right now, he's not a starter. He's a prop, a storyline the team can keep in its back pocket to placate fans when the current starter inevitably melts down. See, we've got the kid ready to go, they'll say, as if that erases the wasted months of keeping him on ice.